Galileo Galilei was an Italian philosopher, astronomer, and mathematician who made essential contributions to the sciences of astronomy, motion and strength of the material, and several developments of scientific methods. Galileo Galilei played a vital role in the history of science. Galileo Galilei provided several scientific perceptions that lay essential groundwork for future scientists. His examination of the laws of motion and enhancements of the telescope also helped a lot to understand the world and universe around. I have never met a man so ignorant that I couldn't learn something from him. I do not feel obliged to believe that the same God who has endowed us with sense, reason, and intellect has intended us to forego their use. You cannot teach a man anything, you can only help him find it within himself. In questions of science, the authority of 1,000 is not worth the humble reasoning of a single individual. All truths are easy to understand once they are discovered, the point is to discover them. Philosophy, nature, is written in that great book which ever is before our eyes, I mean the universe, but we cannot understand it if we do not first learn the language and grasp the symbols in which it is written. The book is written in mathematical language, and the symbols are triangles, circles and other geometrical figures, without whose help it is impossible to comprehend a single word of it. Without which one wanders in vain through a dark labyrinth. Passion is the genesis of genius. The sun, with all those planets revolving around it and dependent on it, can still ripen a bunch of grapes as if it had nothing else in the universe to do. For in the sciences the authority of thousands of opinions is not worth as much as one tiny spark of reason in an individual man. It is a beautiful and delightful sight to behold the body of the moon, wine as sunlight, held together by water. There are those who reason well, but they are greatly outnumbered by those who reason badly. Long experience has taught me this about the status of mankind with regard to matters requiring thought. The less people know and understand about them, the more positively they attempt to argue concerning them, while on the other hand to know and understand a multitude of things renders men cautious in passing judgment upon anything new. Apporcine, measure what can be measured, and make measurable what cannot be measured. Mathematics is the language in which God has written the universe. My dear Kepler, what would you say of the learned here, who, replete with the pertinacity of the asp, have steadfastly refused to cast a glance through the telescope? What shall we make of this? Shall we laugh, or shall we cry? I esteem myself happy to have as great an ally as you in my search for truth. I will read your work, all the more willingly because I have for many years been a partisan of the Copernican view, because it reveals to me the causes of many natural phenomena that are entirely incomprehensible in the light of the generally accepted hypothesis. To refute the latter I have collected many proofs, but I do not publish them, because I am deterred by the fate of our teacher Copernicus who, although he had won immortal fame with a few, was ridiculed and condemned by countless people, for very great is the number of the stupid. It is surely harmful to souls to make it a heresy to believe what is proved. By denying scientific principles, one may maintain any paradox. With regard to matters requiring thought, the less people know and understand about them, the more positively they attempt to argue concerning them. See now the power of truth. The same experiment which at first glance seemed to show one thing, when more carefully examined, assures us of the contrary. Names and attributes must be accommodated to the essence of things, and not the essence to the names, since things come first and names afterwards. In the sciences, The authority of thousands of opinions is not worth as much as one tiny spark of reason in an individual man. I've loved the stars too fondly to be fearful of the night. The Bible shows the way to go to heaven, not the way the heavens go. Philosophy is written in that great book which ever lies before our eyes, I mean the universe, but we cannot understand it if we do not first learn the language and grasp the symbols in which it is written. We cannot teach people anything. We can only help them discover it within themselves. They seem to forget that the increase of known truths stimulates the investigation, establishment and growth of the arts, not their diminution or destruction. What Galileo purportedly muttered after torturers forced him to recant his theory that the Earth orbits the Sun,